Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel.
Today, I will be speaking about alcohol and seniors. Are there benefits? Are there good things about alcohol? Are there bad? What are the nuances? And what do the current guidelines say? And what is my personal opinion on alcohol? And what is my 64 years of experience been? So, I'll start by saying that if you are somebody who drinks heavier or has drank for a long time and you decide to slow down or quit alcohol altogether, please seek a doctor's guidance. It's rare, but alcohol withdrawal, severe alcohol withdrawal, can be dangerous and even life threatening. Now, I'm not a doctor, I am an investigator. And as an investigator, still working at 64, it is my role or my job to review research, data, separate fact from fiction, more importantly, fact from opinions, and try to come up with the truth. So, are there good reasons to still be drinking alcohol as a senior? Research says, or data says, that 2/3 of all men and 1/2 of all women at the age of 65 are still consuming alcohol. The good things about alcohol, or perhaps the pros about alcohol, I guess I'll word it that way, are as we get older, our social life usually gets smaller. We may be on our own. We may not have the family members we used to. Our circle of friends is probably a lot smaller. So the interactions we do have with friends and family and neighbors become even more important. And I believe they are important for our health, our mental health, and our health in general. So if you are somebody that socializes, and sometimes a little bit of alcohol can help that, it makes it more relaxing. It is a social lubricant of sorts. And if you're sharing a glass of wine with a neighbor and you're discussing pairing food, or if you decide to go wine tasting and you turn that into a social event or make it part of a social event while drinking moderately, I think there is room in our life for alcohol if we're able to control it and we can tolerate it. So, what are the guidelines for alcohol? What do they say we should drink in when it comes to the amount of alcohol? So, an alcohol unit is 5 ounces of wine, a 12-ounce, 5% alcohol beer, or an ounce and a half of hard liquor, such as whiskey.
Here I have a bottle of typical wine. It's 750 milliliter white wine, and 750 milliliters is equal to 25 ounces. So a standard drink of wine is 5 ounces. So therefore we have 5 typical drinks in a bottle of wine. So it's a little easier at home to pour your 5 ounce glass. But when you go to a restaurant, for example, or if you go out to friends, I'm going to show you the difference between pours and how you're probably going to be getting more wine than what you think. So we have a bottle of white wine. I am going to pour in 5 ounces, which is the standard drink. Right there. So these are not large wine glasses. These are, I would say, small to medium. So in this glass, this is what 5 ounces of white wine would look like. When you go to a restaurant, you typically are offered a 6 ounce glass or a 9 ounce glass. Now the 9 ounce glass is always more cost effective per ounce than the 6 ounce glass. So a lot of people will choose 9 ounces. So here is a restaurant pour for 9 ounces. That is 9 ounces. So you can certainly see the difference in these two glasses. So this is a regular 5 ounce pour. So when we say you're only supposed to be having 2 drinks per week, we're referring to this when it comes to wine. If you go to a restaurant or if you pour your own, a lot of times because the glass is a bit bigger, it might not look like this is very much. So you're going to pour this amount, or they will serve you a 9 ounce glass of wine. So again, out of a bottle of wine, you get 5 glasses. Okay, let's take a look at beer now. So when I refer to a beer being a standard drink, what I'm referring to is One beer, 355 milliliters, so your average can of beer or bottle, 5% alcohol. This would be one standard drink. On the opposite spectrum, we have a great IPA, no alcohol beer. The reason I'm showing this is if you are on a low carb diet, or if you're just trying to have less sugar and less carbs, and you want an alternative to real beer, this is a great option. Now, it is a darker IPA. I love the taste. It tastes like real beer to me. The beauty, this has 0 carbohydrates in it. It has 10 calories, which is still low. I'm more worried about the carbohydrates. This is another option for beer, which obviously doesn't contribute to your daily drinking. In contrast, one of these beers has about 20 grams of carb. For my diet, I stay 20 grams or under for the day. 2 of these would put me over. And in huge contrast, we got this bad boy. Now this is 6.1% alcohol. It's a big can and it's 710 milliliter. It's almost the size as the wine bottle. So if you had one of these at one time, this would be equal to roughly 2 beer, 2 of these.
The guidelines, at least in Canada, used to say 14 drinks a week maximum. Well, that was pretty easy, right? For most of us, we could keep in that. They recently changed it to 2 drinks per week. That's right, from 14 to 2 drinks per week. And to add insult to injury, you can only have 1 drink per day. So you can't even have those 2 drinks in one day, according to the guidelines. So what are the cons of drinking alcohol? And there are many. And I'm going to go into more of the common ones in this video. The biggest con of alcohol is health. Now, do you remember when we were told that a glass of wine makes your heart great and it's wonderful and it's heart healthy? Well, that's pretty much all BS because they have now proven that that's not true. Perhaps that came from marketing schemes. Perhaps that was believed to be true. Perhaps the research only identified very healthy people that were drinking wine. Whatever the case, it is disproved. So do not believe that any amount of alcohol will help you physically, biologically, because it's just not true. Alcohol, as we get older, can make us wobbly, lead to falls. Alcohol can interact with our medications and cause even more side effects or different side effects. Alcohol can disrupt the 4 pillars of our health that I strive for every day. Them being sleep, stress management, diet, and exercise. Let's start with exercise. If you drink alcohol and you have 1 too many, even 1 too many, the next day you might not feel like going for that walk that you typically would have. You might not want to go to the gym. If you think that alcohol helps your stress, it might for that 30 minutes when you first drink it. It might numb your senses enough so that it reduces your stress, but it does not take away your stress the next day. In fact, it'll come back probably even harder. Alcohol does not reduce stress in its totality. And if you're using alcohol to reduce stress on a daily basis, for example, or to forget about your stress or to forget about things that are hurting you physically or mentally, then that's just going to cascade to a series of concerns because alcohol is not your answer for those things. So also sleep. Alcohol will make us sleep quickly, right? We'll have a glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine. You're going to fall asleep, might even fall asleep on the couch. And you might think that alcohol helps us sleep. Well, it is true. It might help us fall asleep. But here's the thing. Alcohol disrupts our sleep. If you're wearing a tracker, a sleep tracker, you will see that if on the nights that you sleep when you've been drinking the night before, you'll see your REM and your deep sleep. This is restorative sleep cycles, greatly be reduced in the morning. You'll wake up, some of us, 2 or 3 in the morning, and we're up. It might cause us to go to the bathroom because we've drank more liquid, and it's harder to get back to sleep. At the end of the day, your sleep is not improved by drinking alcohol, just the opposite. Diet. Now, if we have that extra drink the night before, you might eat something that you typically wouldn't. So if you're really striving on your diet and you're trying to eat it healthy, after you have a couple of drinks, it's going to be easier for you to have something that's not so healthy. But also the next day, when you wake up and you're feeling the effects of alcohol, you have a craving for food that you wouldn't typically eat. For example, fast food, sweet food, candy bars, something sweet. You may reach for sweets. So it's a real slippery slope. I do believe that there is room for alcohol in our life. And like I mentioned, if we can keep it under moderation, remember, alcohol is highly addictive. If we can keep it to that one or two drinks, once or twice a week, okay, that's maybe a little more than the twice a week, but realistically, once or twice a week, and it doesn't affect our health, mental health, or physical health, and we enjoy it, then at our age, I don't see an issue with it. I think in more cases than not, we have reason not to drink. Me personally, when I was younger, like most of us, I drank a lot more. I had more reason to drink. There was concerts and sporting events and getting together with friends and camping, and there was so many reasons to drink. In the last 10 years, I can honestly say that I have not felt great from drinking. And I'm not talking about one a week. I'm talking about if I have 3 or 4, for example, in a night. So I'm at the point where I know that for me, 1 or 2 drinks once or twice a week is not going to hurt me. It doesn't affect my sleep. It doesn't affect anything else in my life. And if I can keep doing that, I probably will. Having said that, the older I get, the more I truly feel in my heart of hearts that in the next 5 years, I will probably eliminate alcohol altogether, because I am striving, as we all should, to be the best versions of ourselves as we get into our golden years. And I think there's very, very little room for alcohol to achieve those results. That's just my personal take on it. I'll tell you in 5 or 10 years if that's what happens. So whether you choose to drink or whether you choose not to drink, it's certainly your option. I always say there's 2 reasons why I would quit drinking altogether. Number 1, if my doctor told me I need to. Number 2, if my wife told me I need to. If either of those 2 things happen, I would quit alcohol today. In the meantime, I'm going to do my best to have that 1 or 2 drinks once or twice a week. And if I can't maintain that, and if I want more, and if I do have more, I will stop quitting alcohol altogether. Well, I hope this has helped. I'd love to hear comments about other people's experiences, thoughts. If you like this, give me a like, please. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I'd really much appreciate that as well. So take care, everybody, and thanks again.